What is the kindest thing you've done or seen? My dad ran into an old high school friend he hadn't seen in years. He learned that the man had cancer, that he had no family except a son in college in another state, and that he was basically dealing with it all by himself. So my dad started taking him to his appointments and out to lunch. He even organized how to take his crazy number of prescriptions since it was confusing to figure out when to take them when they all had different times and requirements. There were about 18 of them, I think, he said. Then, when his friend died, my dad helped his son do all of the end-of-life arrangements. My dad is my hero. He is such a giving person, and I strive to be like him, monsieur. I worked at Starbucks. One morning around 6:30 a customer came in and I asked how she was doing. "Oh, it's already crazy and I haven't even started," she replied. To make her day go a little easier, I gave her coffee order for free. A few days later, I was having a terrible morning. 6:30 and already chaos. She came in, asked me how I was doing, and I said the above. A couple hours later, she came back with a gift bag for me. Inside was a nice bottle of wine. We'd both had bad mornings, and someone's small gesture had made the day just a little bit nicer. Today you, tomorrow me. I was 16, driving over to my girlfriend's house on rainy Saturday afternoon. There was a man biking in front of me, and when he went to get onto the sidewalk, he completely ate shit. I pulled into the closest driveway and saw that his bike was mangled and his arm was bleeding. I threw his bike in my trunk, gave him my old sweatshirt for his bloody arm, and drove him home. When I dropped him off, he gave me his card. Turned out he was a dentist at a local research hospital. Well, fast forward to when I'm 19 and the same man took out my wisdom teeth for free as part of a research experiment. Not sure if there was actually an experiment that they needed wisdom teeth for, but just goes to show that good things happen to good people. You got cloned, bro. I saw a neighbor boy practicing his jump shot into some tree branches in his front yard. I had a portable hoop in the back from when I moved in that was taking up space, so I walked over and offered him the hoop for free. I only lived there for the next year or two, but it was almost non-stop basketball dribble next door after that. I saw him, his sister, parents, aunts, uncles, even a grandparent or two all take a couple shots at the hoop over time. It felt good to know his family got so much use out of it. When I was enlisting into the Army, my recruiter picked me up to go over some paperwork in his office, which was close to the downtown area of my city. On the way there we passed a homeless woman sitting on the side of the road. Without even a second thought, he whipped the car around, pulled through a nearby drive-thru, bought a huge meal with a large cup of water, and raced back to where the woman was sitting. The look on her face when he pulled up and handed her the meal through the window was something I will never forget. He didn't have to do something like that, but he did it out of the kindness of his heart. He's one of the best leaders I know, and I try to emulate him in everything I do. That's amazing. Where was this place? I'd love to get a meal for just a cup of water. Not sure if you're being sarcastic or not, but it was just a Bojangles IRC. He bought one of the big box meals with multiple fixins. For context, it was the middle of summer and 90 degrees outside, so water would have been better hydration-wise than soda or sweet tea. An older gentleman tried to ship an envelope to his grandson from a shipping company I worked at. The way he acted and the things he said threw up too many red flags in my head. So, against company policy, I opened the envelope after he left, and inside of it was 5 figures in cash. I called the cops and told them to get in touch with the man and try to figure out what was going on. As it turns out, someone had called the older man and said his grandson was in the hospital, and if they didn't send the money he would get a surgery that was badly needed. The older man couldn't get in touch with the grandson by phone, so he panicked and sent the money to the address they provided. We were able to stop it from happening and get the money back to Hi Monsieur. He said it was basically his life savings. The story kind of got big and the news ran a story on it, and apparently it's a scam that happens to a lot of old people. We started this kind of club to reach out to nursing homes and try and educate people about it. And a lot of people were not aware of anything like that happening. A lot of good came from me just being nosy. A friend of mine, educated and in her 60s, fell for one of these type scams. She was embarrassed, but told everyone she could so others would learn from her mistake. I can very easily imagine Mom falling for some kind of scam before we put in a home. She was pretty talkative to anyone who called because she considered it rude to just hang up. It's scary. I was breaking down in the middle of the street and sitting on the sidewalk. A stranger girl came and patted on my shoulders, kept talking about random stuff, trying to make me laugh and calm, and she managed to do so. It was the most wholesome thing that ever happened to me. That's a great person for sure. Thanks for sharing. Was at the gas station once, saw this woman at the pump next to me frantically scurrying throughout her purse and crying. Turns out she was on E, had no money, and was trying to scrounge up change to get enough gas to get to a job interview. I asked her if she was okay and she explained the situation to me. I've been there myself before and it sucks. So I told her to fill up her tank. She looked at me bewildered and confused. I told her I'll cover it for her. She gave me the biggest hug and thanked me. I told her I've been there before and I know how it is, and that people should look out for one another. It felt good to brighten someone's bad day by offering a small amount of help. Greater than she was on E. Well, I guess that could help with an interview. MBNGL. I thought the same thing until I read this comment. I worked at a LAKEY store in college and relied on tips for gas money, like $20 to $25 a night. I got off work at 11 and went to the nearest pump where some guy was filling his car up. He asked me if I was paying in cash and if he could just take it and put it on his Visa. I didn't care, so went ahead and did it. But he didn't stop at $20 and kept going until it filled up. I was dumbfounded at such a random act of kindness and asked him why he did it. His response was, "It's a stolen credit card, I don't give a fuck." I legit couldn't sleep for like a week. I kept thinking the cops would somehow think I was involved in some credit card scandal, 'cause they'd get me license plate from the gas station camera. Anyway, kind of similar story but not exactly. In 6th grade, it was 2 stops away from my stop. A man was just laying on the sidewalk. Our bus was stopped for a long time. I noticed the bus driver wasn't on the bus and I looked outside and the guy was just laying there. Our bus driver is RLLY nice to her, being the nice lady she is. She rushes out of the bus, check his pulse and calls an ambulance. The bad part was some people on my bus were talking shite, saying, "I bet he overdosed on something." And almost after that my mom comes to pick me up. Turns out the next day our bus driver said, "The man from yesterday didn't overdose. He went into diabetic shock." Or I think that's what she said, but she basically saved someone. Sometimes when my sister is sleeping or napping, I plug her phone in to charge, so when she wakes up, it'll be 100%. Edit. OMG, I didn't expect all this kindness. Thank you and stay safe. I absolutely love doing adopt families during Christmas. I don't have kids of my own, but I really put a lot of thought into what to get them. Monsieur, these are low-income families, and I always ask for ones with lots of little kids. So I try to pick things that they can get a lot of use out of. I always get loads of books, especially ones where the parents can interact with the kids. Cookbooks, puzzles, bedtime stories. I go heavy on science books and kids too, especially for girls. Always gotta get a hula hoop, one of those huge life-size dollhouse castles you can color, and a ton of some sort of age-appropriate building blocks or Legos. I get piles of art stuff and paper, coloring books, painting sets, jewelry kits, all kinds of crafty things. I get them some sort of diary or journal if they're older. someplace secret they can write their thoughts. My most favorite family of them all was single mom who'd just turned 18. Her son was 3 and she'd moved into her very first apartment. She had nothing but 2 bare mattresses on the floor. One for her and one for her son. She was working a job and was trying to save up for things for the house. Her wish list was heartbreaking. She wanted blankets for them both, a pan to cook with, and a Spider-Man toy for her son. That's it. I was single at the time, supporting myself, so I only had a couple $100 to spend. I got her a complete comforter, sheet set, a pillow, and a full set of cooking pans. I found the coolest thing for her son though. It was a fitted sheet that turned your bed into a Spider-Man tent. It was awesome. And then I found a big Spider-Man stuffed toy, like 2 feet tall. I also found this huge book with over 100 full-length bedtime stories. I got the usual boring stuff, clothes for her son and a gift card for a holiday meal. But then I found at Target a clearance TV DVD combo. It was less than $100. I knew money was tight, so I included a note in her Christmas card that she could rent her son videos from the library for free. I would have given anything to see their faces. I really hope she liked everything. I wish that it made a good Christmas for her and maybe made her first Christmas on her own a little more happy. Damn, that's so fucking sad. Like the happy sad though, I may or may not have a tear. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.